Hi Scorpio, welcome to your mid-May 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. Well, this is literally mid-May, so I guess I'm not too late. I just, you're the last one I'm doing in this batch, so usually I do yours a lot earlier. So I hope it's not too dark. I have everything off, and it's overcast outside, but I don't know. Don't feel like turning on the lights for whatever reason. Let's see. Oh gosh, this is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, but it's like so hard to lift up cards because it's got a matte finish, and that just, I don't know. It's not like, I think the glossy is stickier or something. But I do love these cards, so I'm definitely not dissing the cards themselves. And they, the card stock really matters, and the card stock's pretty decent. I do have a card that's peeling. Oops, I think there's two stuck here. Well, they're going to both be part of this. When the card stock is good, then I'm happy. Let's put it that way. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Let's see what we got here. So, once again, well, I guess there's not as many pentacles as I thought, because I feel like I've been getting a lot of pentacles lately. Like people are focusing on money matters, perhaps, or their jobs and things, practical things in life, which would make a lot of sense. So, the heart of the matter is the Two of Swords. In this deck, look at that. I mean, I think this is such a wonderful depiction. I've had this deck for a couple of years now, and it's one of my go-to decks. I have very few of them. I tend to use the same one over and over again, namely the Morgan Greer deck. And something about the Rider-Waite deck always is, I have like weird energy with that one. I always like find cards that are missing. Right now I'm missing the Eight of Pentacles in that deck, and I'm like, I can't even find I have like two decks. I can't even find a spare Eight of Pentacles in either deck. So that deck is kind of like strange to me, even though I use it too. But the point is that I think the depiction is so wonderful in this, because you have two swords, you have the sun, and there's like this black center to the sun. And to me, that can symbolize the darkness, or the cloud of, I was going to say the cloud of unknowing, which is a Christian mystical book, but I don't mean it like that. I mean, when you have indecision that is coming from a place of ignorance, in terms of ignoring, that's what ignorance really is ignoring the truth of the situation. And so it makes it hard to make a decision. Sometimes making a decision is really easy if you take away blinders. It's like not even much of a real decision to begin with. And so let's see if we can see what that decision is. In the past position, we have the Six of Pentacles. And they depict it as flowers on a tree. So you could say bearing fruit, something that is bearing fruit. Now, Six of Pentacles has to do with your relationships with other people and money that is connected to it. So I think this is one of the inheritance cards, but also give and take when it comes to, for instance, in the job sector, if you are working at a job and you feel like you're underpaid, that can certainly show up with this card of like, I'm putting in X amount of energy, but I don't feel like I'm getting back what I put in. I'm putting in more than I get back, and not liking that ratio. And let's see what the higher message. Higher message, I'm reading it upright, but I pulled it reversed, is the Daughter of Swords, which is the Page of Swords in reverse. Now, this can be, in some cases, paranoia, reading too much into something, telling, I mean, if this is, I'm talking about if this is you, maybe you're telling yourself something about your situation that is simply based on your own projections. Sometimes for Scorpio, you are the most perceptive, person ever, that you can ferret out these secrets. The Page of Swords in the upright position is the spy card. So definitely Scorpios can be like this. But when it's taken to the extreme, somebody can perceive some sort of like conspiracy in everything. And that's when it veers into paranoia. And it's actually, it can actually push that other person away if this is like a personal relationship. And if the Two of Swords, maybe this is someone that you have been involved with. With the Six of Pentacles, if it's a situation where at first that person was calling you just about as often as you were calling them, and then it kind of tapered off, and you're just starting to feel like that something's going on, it might be, but it might not. And you might be debating throwing this person out, or kicking them to the curb, whatever you want to call it. I'm using this terminology from like 20 years ago. Whatever, but that person might not be what you're accusing them of. And if this is an air sign, I'm thinking especially like Gemini, which is, that's a very unusual couple, but Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Aquarius is a fixed sign like yours, and then that could give you a certain magnetic pull to one another. That square, that friction, that can be very physically attractive to you. That kind of situation can certainly bring you into that state of paranoia, because these types of people tend to be people who come across as evasive. Not evasive per se, but like very detached. So you can that can kind of like flip you out a little bit, and like you're getting more and more intense about them, and they're becoming more and more attached. But that could be it too. Like if they sense that you're just too into them, that might be a little bit unnerving. So there might be something that you're doing to create more of the situation that is making you paranoid. I also think with the Two of Swords that there might be something going on where you feel that there's only two possibilities when there's really not. So kind of that binary thinking, black and white thinking, which I think, unfortunately, Scorpios can be involved with, especially if your Mercury is in Scorpio too. If you've got Mercury in Libra as a Scorpio, you might, or even Virgo. No, that's not a possibility. I don't think. You can't. No, you can't have it. No, you might have it in Sag though, and that's a mutable sign, and that might be more flexible. But if you have it in Scorpio, God help you, because you're probably going to think that things are either right or wrong, and there's no in between. Although I did have a triple Scorpio woman once tell me that life isn't black and white, so there are always outliers, and this person was certainly an outlier. I can tell you that much. Okay. So if it's a work situation, by the way, yeah, I should say this too. There might be somebody, and they could be younger than you, who is really at the center of all of this, creating problems. Now, I will say that if something has changed at work and you've been asked to be more to take over somebody else's duties more often, and that person happens to have a child, because the Daughter of Swords in reverse, this could be a child with problems, maybe even mental problems, and you might not know what is going on behind the scenes, and you may be just focused on, I'm, being taken advantage of, and there might be something that if they were to reveal it, you would probably volunteer to do. And be very happy to do it, because I know a lot of Scorpio people are big-hearted people. You're just a type of people, especially if you have inner planets in Libra, that you're obsessed with fairness. Okay, so what is crossing you is the Empress card and the Justice card. So, interesting. The Empress card is a card of abundance. I think it's the divine feminine, but we'll just say the feminine principle, the feminine archetype, and Venus and the signs Taurus and Libra. The Justice card is connected to Libra, and I was talking about the swords, that they could be going on. So these are in the challenge position, so I'm reading them like they are challenging you. Something being unfair, something being like the woman who flaunts her who uses her feminine wiles to get what she wants, but then she can't handle the result of that. So if that is you, if you're a femme fatale, Scorpio, and it's coming back on you for some reason, don't cry, wolf about it, or whatever you want to call it. Don't sob about it, because see, with the Six of Pentacles, and I'm speaking specifically to women because most of my viewers are women, but I'm getting more men, so thank you, men. I love men. But this is something that women tend to do with male relationships, where they give of themselves, and maybe we're talking about even sex, and then they complain when they're being used for sex, because they wanted to use sex as a way to get in the door. That sounds kind of double entendre. But it ended up, I was going to say phallic, but I don't think that's right. Freudian. They wanted to get in the door and get that man to get hooked into them, but it only went skin deep, literally. So doing something that I don't think is counterintuitive would be, don't do that. Don't give it up, as they say. Not as a tool of manipulation whatsoever, but as a way to ensure that you're dealing with somebody that is really into you and not just wanting, a guaranteed hookup, like a friends with benefits, whatever you want to call those kinds of situations. You know what I'm saying? So looking at it that way. But you're giving of yourself in a way that is what you expect to get. which means that you're looking for love. So the Empress is actually a card of love. It's a card of creativity and also the mother. So those things also go hand in hand. Of course, being a mother is a creative act. You're creating a child or co-creating a child. And that's another example. If you're looking for love and you're engaging in casual sex, you're sending a mixed message. Casual meaning you're just doing it right off the bat. It has nothing to do with shaming. It's nothing to do with morals whatsoever, like religious beliefs, sin, anything like that. I'm not talking about that whatsoever. Saying sex is bad. Nothing like that. I'm talking about logic. Sex isn't bad. It's actually sacred. And so why would you throw it away on just some kind of a casual circumstance? So, treating it as something more special. Now, a lot of Scorpio people do that, male and female. A lot of you, I don't have to lecture you, you do that. But you might slip when you've had a dry spell, or when you are looking for love and you feel like so many people will not give you the time of day otherwise. And that's pretty sad. But you know what? Those people, you're weeding them out. And you have to remain resolute in order to get that Jack prize. Because all of these things are booby prizes. Booby. I said booby. Ooh. But there was something else I wanted to say about that. And I can't think of what it is. Oh, well. Justice card. That feeling of being treated unfairly, of like being used and things like that. And this is, you know what? I mean, I gave you another scenario that has to do with a work situation. And all of these things can apply to that as well. Because sometimes, we are judging things that we don't know about. And we're feeling like we're the ones that are being taken advantage of, and perhaps there's more to the story, and the people that you're being asked to fill in for, maybe they are in the midst of it and they don't want to talk about it because they don't want more people knowing about what their ordeal is. So it comes down to looking at the situation as a whole. If you've been treated well overall and this is just a new kind of thing, then giving people the benefit of the doubt rather than trying to read into it too much might be the best course of action. However, if this is new management or something like that, it could be the writing on the wall. But instead of allowing your mind to run wild, you might have to just take proactive measures. And you may feel unwilling to do that. If you have been getting paid fairly well, you might stick with it, but then you still want to play the victim, so you have to realize what you want to do there. What's coming in is the Eight of Wands. So this can kind of break that stalemate that the Two of Swords represents. Is that good? I think overall it is. I think that Wands, being fire energy, are coming from the positive polarity. So they're going to yield results in the outside world. And maybe this is something that a decision that you just can't bring yourself to make. So even if it's made for you, it could be for your highest good, and it could be like something that you can feel like you're released from, kind of like the Tower, but in a more milder form. And the thing about the Eight of Wands, it's kind of like, I hate to use something as gross as constipation, but it's like, and I don't take laxatives except for coffee, but because I don't think that they're good, but sometimes, I'm just me, so other people do what they do. But when somebody takes a laxative and they to relieve constipation, but then all of a sudden they have to run to the toilet, over and over again because there was so much that was built up that was waiting to be released. Well, that can be a lot of shite that is coming out, but it could be good shite. I'm trying to use a term, I think it's Scottish, so that I can get around these censors on the YT, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, who make us censor our own videos, which is hilarious, so we can get monetized. So anyway, yeah, so that can be like something breaking through, things speeding up, but then all of a sudden it's like you might have to make a lot of decisions, and they might have to be snap decisions. So make sure that you're ready to rumble and you're ready for it to happen pretty fast, that you can think on your feet. The outcome is the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of financial independence. So, if this is like a relationship situation and maybe you are with someone who is a very reliable person, but you feel a little bit bored by that individual, and you have met someone that's a Swords, and there's like that, maybe there's intellectual rapport, maybe that person for some reason really has gotten you going, you may decide that you want to stay with with the earth sign individual, because perhaps, like a midlife crisis can simply be that a person doesn't feel desirable because their marriage, for instance, has been 15 years in the making, and they feel like it's just on autopilot, and they're looking for that sense that they still have it or something. I don't know. A midlife crisis can be for what it is that you put out in the world as your gift to the world too. It doesn't have to be like some relationship, but I'm just saying that sometimes that flash can feel very exciting, and yet it just turns out to be a flash in the pan. The Eight of Wands can be maybe an enlightening moment for you when you really see things clearly and you snap out of whatever it is that you're in that is making you feel like you want to possibly throw it all away for something which may be exciting but temporary. In terms of a job situation, the Nine of Pentacles is possibly you realizing that you are financially independent and you don't need a particular job. And with the Eight of Wands, you may even get like some job offer. So you know that you're going to be taken care of. And it could come out of the blue even. Okay, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.